She repossessed the car.
She started yelling at me and telling me, I don't want to do this to you because we're friends. She was just very awful to me.
You drove a car for 6 months, and you made no payments as agreed. Were you not understanding me? Or were you just pretending not to understand me?
This is Judy Justice. Mia Magdaleno is suing her former friend, Blanca Rodriguez, for car payments after she repossessed the car Mia was driving.
Court come to order. All rise.
Be seated, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 1048, Magdaleno versus Rodriguez.
Thank you. Magdaleno, how do you know the defendant?
We became friends around my birthday last year.
How?
Through her business, she did my hair, a keratin treatment.
So she's a hairdresser.
That's what she told me, yes.
Did you go to a store, a shop?
A shop? Yes.
In what month was that, do you remember?
September?
Of 2020?
Yes.
And it came a time subsequently that you made an arrangement with her to take over the payments on a car that she owned.
Correct.
With a view towards once the car was paid off, it would be yours.
Yes.
That was the arrangement.
Yes.
What kind of car was it?
A 2018 Hyundai Elantra, I believe.
You believe or you know?
Yes, it's a 2018.
And what was the car note?
I believe there was $15,000 left on the vehicle, roughly.
And what were the monthly payments?
$412 for the car, and then $112 for the insurance.
Is this the first car that you own?
No, this isn't my first vehicle.
What happened with your last vehicles?
It was in the shop, and then we made an agreement to go ahead and I take over the car payment because...
No. What happened to your last car?
Oh, it was just in the shop. There was just a few mechanical issues going on with it.
So what did you do with it?
Well, she wanted to trade it, but I... No. I just sold it. I ended up selling it.
You ended up selling it when?
In November, roughly.
Of what year?
2020.
Who did you sell it to?
My neighbor.
What did you sell it for?
I think like $1,000.
What kind of car was it?
It was an Audi, an older Audi.
Okay, so you wanted a new car, and I assume that you made inquiries about buying a new car.
Well,
Is there any reason why you didn't buy a car from a dealer?
Well, Blanca actually purchased a new vehicle, a pal her a favor while she was doing me a favor.
Well, why was she doing you a favor? I mean, did you have sufficient credit to
Yes,
get a car?
I do. Yes.
Did you think that this was a good deal?
I did believe I was helping a friend out. And
No, I don't believe that. Actually.
Well, I did believe it was, fair. It was, a car that wasn't going to have any mechanical issues, being relatively new.
How many miles did it have on it?
I don't know the exact number.
Sarah, just do me a favor, please. Would you look up a 2018 Hyundai Elantra?
New? Or
What it
I need
was, and
mileage.
she bought it in 2020, so she bought it was 2 years old. Okay, so what I got, this is your complaint, that according to you, you made your payments on a regular basis to her, but 1 month you were late in paying the insurance.
Correct.
And she repossessed the car.
She asked for it back while I was at work, and I had no other option. I'm a caregiver, so my job is very demanding. And
So you gave her back the car, or she took back the
she
car?
demanded the car back,
She
yes.
demanded the car back, but she didn't pay the insurance on time.
Well, I was only a day and a half late, but yes. And I told her, and I kept communication with her that I would be paying the vehicle as soon as I got off work. And I made that connection very clear, to which she started yelling at me and telling me, because I was at work, I told her I'm at work.
What day of the month was the insurance due?
It was due, I believe, on the 12th, I believe.
And what date would the insurance payment due?
it was due on the 12th, Your Honor, and this was on the 14th, and I don't understand how she's saying that I was yelling at her when we were texting.
She said, "Are you yelling at me in your thoughts?" She was the one who told me that.
I have
So
proof
we
here.
were texting.
Just a sec.
How can I be yelling?
I'm going to take a look at the text back and forth.
Okay. I have this.
Just a sec.
Based upon a 20,000 mileage, it's between 14 and 15,000 for 2018.
Great. Thank you. I'd like to see the texts, Kevin. Where was the next message? Well, I'd like to see the next message. She said, who is Eric told me if you can make payments for the $1,000 too. What is that about?
So she did want $1,000 starting for the vehicle, which she was willing to do in payments. So the next message.
Just a second. In what month was this?
I believe that was.
Just a second. So it wasn't just insurance. Were you overdue in your down payment as well?
Oh, she was willing to make payments for.
Just a second. I'm asking you, were you overdue in the down payment?
I believe so.
The down payment. Eric told me if you can make payments for the $1,000
down
Who
to
did?
cover me and my husband, but she never made any payments on it.
Okay. Do you have a written contract?
No, it was all verbal.
So she didn't make the $1,000 down.
No, she never did.
Okay. And she got the car in what month?
I believe it was in November.
Oh, that's when she sold the other car. And in what month did you take the car back? That was in May.
No, I didn't take it back, Your Honor. She went and left it in Bloomington, California.
Just a second. What month?
Me?
That's what I said. Did you give her the keys to the car back immediately?
As soon as I could without.
Not as
having
soon
the
as I
car.
could. Keys are in your house. You put them in an envelope. You send them.
Yeah, well, I went.
That doesn't take a month. We don't use Pony Express anymore.
Mia Magdaleno says former friend Blanca Rodriguez wrongfully repossessed the car Mia was paying for. Blanca is countersuing for vehicle damages, excess mileage, and filing a false restraining order.
Okay, so this is my question to you. Between November of 2020 and May 2021, you hadn't made any payments on this down payment of $1,000.
Correct. I didn't make any payments because she was being told by her husband what to do, but the car was in her name, and so she said, I don't want to do this to you because we're friends, being that we're friends, so I would just give you the vehicle, but my husband wants $1,000 for it.
Just a second. But that was your agreement, that you would pay $1,000 down.
Uh-huh.
And you didn't pay any part of the $1,000 down.
Yes.
Okay. And you drove the car in November, December, January, February, March, April, into part of May. So you drove the car for 6 months, right?
Yes.
It's a relatively new car. And the payment for the insurance is due on the 12th. Did you try to get your own insurance on the car?
Yeah, she did end up canceling the insurance that same day.
Just a second.
Go ahead.
My question is, did you try to get insurance on the car in your own name?
No, because she offered to go ahead and get in hers.
So is what you're telling me that you never tried to get insurance in your own name and it was too expensive?
No, it wasn't too expensive. I just never tried to get insurance because it was.
That's not what she told me. She said she had to pay $400 a month.
How much did you pay on your old car for insurance?
$112.
You mean the exact same amount of money that you paid for insurance on this car? That doesn't sound right. Miss Magdalena, were you not understanding me? Or were you just pretending not to understand me?
For my Audi?
For your Audi, how much did you pay for insurance a month?
Roughly, I don't remember the exact
Then you
number.
say, I don't remember. She took it back. So it's just the car I'm dealing with, not the insurance. Insurance you have to have. You drove it, you have to pay for it. How much do you think it would have cost you to rent a car a month? A relatively new car.
Like roughly 500, roughly.
A month.
Uh-huh.
So this was a bargain. So my question is, you have to be reasonable. You drove a car for 6 months. If you had to lease a car, it would cost you said $500, but it would cost you at least $400 a month. So what do you want back? She asked for the car back because of 2 things. You didn't pay the insurance on time, and you made no payments as agreed on the $1,000 down payment.
Well, just overall, while the contract was in place, she was just very awful to me, saying horrible words, and then even after she received the vehicle back, her and her daughter started to harass me, which we had to go ahead and take legal matters for that, and they dropped it without prejudice. But she pretty much just would tell me certain things, like her daughter was making fun of me, saying
Don't tell me what her daughter did. Her daughter's not here, nor is she a party.
So her and her as well?
No.
Okay.
Just her.
So she would go ahead and call me multiple times, and then she would change her
Just a
number.
second, did you give Did you give her the keys back
Yes, I gave
immediately?
I
No,
told her-
that's a question. Did you give her the keys to the car back? You had 2 sets of keys. Did you give her the keys to the car back immediately? I've read her answer. The answer is no.
As soon as I could without
Not as
having
soon
a
as I
car.
could. How much after you gave her back the car? You gave her back the car in May. What date in May?
I don't know the exact date.
13th,
May 13th. On what day did she get the keys back?
June 28th, I received them in the mail.
What does that mean, as soon as you can?
Well, because I did not have a vehicle at the time, so people were driving me around. I had to Uber everywhere, and I did message her as well, saying that I would give
The
it back
keys
to
are in
her
your
in,
house.
like,
You put them in an
2 days.
envelope. You send them.
Yeah, well, I went.
That doesn't take a month. We don't use Pony Express anymore. Did you get another car? We're now talking about several months later. Did you buy a car?
Yes.
Yes. What kind of car did you buy?
Well, I actually went to a dealership and got a 2021 Nissan Altima,
And how much do you pay a month for that on the note?
roughly 400,
Not roughly. You know exactly how much you pay for it a month.
485.92.
That's closer to 500.
It is a 2021.
But that's closer to $500 a month.
Yeah.
And you pay insurance in
Correct.
addition?
Yes.
To what company?
Allstate.
And how much is your insurance on this car?
$150.64.
Do you have any other car? $50 a month for your car that you're driving now,
Roughly.
roughly. And you paid $500 a month when you drove her car.
Correct.
And you put down how much on the new car?
I put down like $2,000
$2,000. Where did you get the $2,000 from?
from work.
From work. So that you had the $1,000 to give her as the down payment. You just didn't give it to her.
No, as soon as she took the vehicle back, I just was able to save money from not having to pay for the vehicle.
Your Honor, and she also
Just a second. On what month and day did you buy the new car?
July, roughly. At the end of the month, around the 28th.
Well, that means that you just saved 2 months. That's $800.
Yeah, and then I also am certified to do like hair, and I was just working really hard to try to come up with money to go ahead and get the payment together.
Yeah. But you didn't work real hard to give her the $1,000 over 6 months that you owed her. Right. She doesn't owe you any money. You drove the car for 6 months. I believe you rented it for 6 months. You have a counterclaim.
Yes.
There came a time when your car needed some repair, and she gave you a loaner.
It was another vehicle of hers, so
It
yes.
was a loaner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a loaner. Did you have an accident in the loaner?
No, I did not.
Yes, she did, Your Honor. I have pictures here and I have the text.
She also allows a lot of others to
Just a
drive the
second.
vehicle.
That's,
Okay.
Where she
It was-
says, I never crashed it, but I could have happened to pull it out of my parking spot. There's a huge pole right next to it. And here it is.
may I see it, please?
And those are the pictures as well. And she also crashed the Elantra.
Shh. You had no agreement with her with regarding mileage.
But I'm also time loss from going to pick up the vehicle when she
She
left it
offered
off
to
an
pick up the
hour away.
vehicle.
Just a second. I don't care.
Mia Magdaleno has accused former friend Blanca Rodriguez of repossessing the car Mia was paying for. Blanca says Mia was late making insurance payments on the car.
Okay, did you have an accident in the loaner?
No, I did not.
Yes, she did, Your Honor. I have pictures here and I have the text.
She also allows a lot of others to
Just a
drive the
second.
vehicle.
That's,
Okay.
Where she
It was-
says, I never crashed it, but I could have happened to pull it out of my parking spot. There's a huge pole right next to it. And here it is.
may I see it, please?
And those are the
Get to that.
What is the
That's your
number?
counterclaim.
Because I don't remember sending those messages.
Okay, but she actually doesn't flat out acknowledge that she scraped the car next to a pole, which is what this looks like. But she says it could have happened when I was pulling in and out of my parking space. In any event, your insurance covered.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then Tell me about because this is her counterclaim. She says that you also had an accident with the Elantra.
Yes. So there was an accident, but the person did hit me, and I have a police report proving that it was, and the insurance did cover that, and there was no money paid out of pocket for her. So it was like it never happened to her.
Right, it stays in the history, the vehicle
But
history
the claim
report.
is,
Just a second. Ms. Rodriguez, if the police report says that the accident is not her fault, and your insurance covered it, which it did, then you have no case against her. It's not her responsibility that there's an accident on the car, unless she was at fault. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, this report clearly determines that she was not at fault in this accident, that someone else was at fault. With regard to the third part of your counterclaim, your third part of the counterclaim is for excess mileage.
Mileage, Your Honor?
You didn't have an agreement with her for mileage.
No, I didn't, but she didn't pay the $1,000 either.
She
Then
She didn't pay the $1,000 either, but you have no claim for the $1,000 deposit.
even though she used the
don't-
vehicle?
You have no. What I'm saying to you is, your claim alleges three things: money owed for damages to two vehicles. I've already addressed that. Excess mileage. You had no agreement with her with regarding mileage. You know, if you lease a car, you usually have a certain number of miles a year that you can put on a car, but you had no agreement with her because it was the intention that she purchased the car. The final thing you're questioning is the filing of a false restraining order. There's nothing here about a deposit. You understand that. And in actuality, she did make payments on the car. You now have the car back. Did you resell it?
I still have it.
You still have it.
But I'm also time loss from going to pick up the vehicle when she left it
offered
off
to
an
pick up the
hour away.
vehicle.
Just a second. I don't care. She filed a restraining order because she says that you were harassing her.
And they didn't give her the restraining order, Your Honor.
Did you have
Without
a trial? Just a
prejudice.
second. Did you have a trial?
We went to court for it, and the judge said he was not going to give her a restraining order because we never harassed her. We
He
just
didn't
second.
say that.
Stop. Did you have a hearing, a trial? Did you give evidence?
Well, we gave evidence, yes, Your
Well,
Honor.
if you give... Okay, so there was a hearing, and then after the hearing, the judge dismissed the case.
Yes.
As would I have, because you wanted your keys back. And it took us 6 weeks to get your keys back. Okay. Do you have the order of dismissal?
No, they said they were going to mail that.
But you had a trial.
Correct.
The case was dismissed. In her view, she was being harassed. Did you have legal fees attendant to that?
No.
Okay. All right. Court's ruling is your claim is dismissed. You drove the car, make believe that you leased it for 6 months. You had the use of a vehicle for 6 months, and you don't get that money back. As far as your counterclaim is concerned, the insurance covered all the damages to both your vehicles. Am I getting that
Yes.
correctly? Without a deductible, correct?
No, there was a deductible.
That I paid.
Oh, you did pay the deductible.
Yeah, well, they went ahead and had the other insurer cover that as well. So she never paid anything out of pocket.
Did you pay anything out of
No.
pocket? Okay, very good. Counterclaim as well is dismissed. Thank you very much. We're finished.
Court adjourned.
I do believe that she ruled fair.
Well, I'm happy I don't have to pay anything.
Her and her daughter were blowing up my phone, calling me very harsh names, and being very disrespectful to me.
Pretty glad that the case was dismissed.
Very weird that someone would say they would come to your house.
She's lying about all that.
Definitely have a contract and get it notarized.
I just think it's stupid because it's a waste of time and she knew she wasn't going to win.
I did get a new car.
Never do it again.
Like that plaintiff, I've had my fair share of unlucky car troubles, you could say. Accidents, stationary objects, just unlucky. But in my view, just take accountability, responsibility, own it. It usually turns out better for you that way than when you deny it or pass blame.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, the best advice is you don't have to have a long memory if you tell the truth right at the beginning. I think that case also, buttresses the fact that even if you're dealing with a friend, probably especially if you're dealing with a friend, and you make a deal that is worth thousands of dollars ultimately, that you put that arrangement in a writing, in a contract, so that everybody knows what the parameters are. And it doesn't have to be drawn up by a lawyer. I mean, if you need any help, you can certainly go on the internet and they give you all kinds of forms that you can use and tailor to your own particular needs. indicates if it's a relatively simple transaction. But having something in writing is good for both people. It tells everybody what they're supposed to do and what the consequences are if they don't do it. So, best advice, keep it in writing and don't hit immovable objects.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.com.
He wanted to know if you wanted to buy his car.
I said, absolutely, that'd be great.
She crashed the car.
What difference does that make? The car is paid off. Let's understand something, sir. Does his face look stupid? You think they kept me around here 26 years because I'm stupid?
This is Judy Justice. Jeffrey Coley is suing his former friend, Melissa Zavala, and her daughter, Faith Gray, for breach of contract on a car loan.
Court come to order. All rise.
Seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
Right, Kevin.
Case number 1159, Coley versus Zavala Gray.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're Miss Zavala,
Yes, Your Honor.
and this is your daughter.
Yes, she is.
I'm going to start with you. How do you know the plaintiff?
I had met him, I was having car trouble. My friend rented me an Airbnb because she didn't want to take me home. So he had been renting the same Airbnb, and that's how we that's how we met each other.
In what month and year was that?
Approximately June or July of 2020.
2020.
Yes, ma'am.
And at the time, you didn't have a car.
I had a vehicle, but it wasn't operating.
So you didn't have a car. Having a car that's not operating is like not having a car. And were you and Mr. Coley just friends, or did you have a more social relationship?
No, we were just strictly just friends.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I assume that you told him about your car trouble.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what did Mr. Coley say to you?
I believe...
Look at me.
Okay, I'm sorry. I believe that he offered to rent a vehicle for me, and...
He said, I'll rent a car for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
It was very nice of him. How were you going to arrange to pay him for that?
Well, I had the money to pay for the rental.
So why would he have to rent it for you?
He gets like discounts and with this AAA or he had some kind of promotional thing that it was going to be cheap.
What kind of promotional thing that you had that was going to be cheap, Mr. Coley?
No promotions at all. She didn't have credit, and she told me she was going to go rent it. She actually drove down or got a ride to the rent car place, and she called me from the counter and said, "Oh, need a credit card? They won't rent to me. Come on down."
Does that sound more familiar?
Yeah, that was correct.
Does that sound more familiar? That
Yes,
you
Your
went there and they wouldn't rent you a car?
Yes, Your Honor. It was I didn't have a credit card yet.
And in what month was that?
I got like July.
So shortly after you met him.
Yeah, oh yeah, immediately after I met him.
So now you called him, so I have no credit card. And now you're at the rental car place. Where's your daughter?
At the time she was at school, she was still going to high school. She was nowhere.
Okay, so you're by yourself at the rental car place.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then what happened?
Jeff came and
He came to the rental car place.
Yeah, and we were gonna rent a Charger, but something had happened. He didn't have enough money in his bank or something like that. So he said I could use his vehicle. Then we went back to his place. We chit-chatted a little bit, and I believe it was the next day that he called and told me that he was gonna purchase another vehicle if I wanted to buy his car that he had now, which is the Altima I'm currently buying.
So he was going to get another car, and he wanted to know if you wanted to buy his car.
Yeah, he was really excited. He was looking.
Just a second. He wanted to know if you wanted to buy his car, and what did you say?
I said, absolutely, that'd be great. And he said, I know
Just a second. That's not exactly what you say in your answer, but continue. So, he said, you want to buy my car. Great. Well, if you want to buy somebody's car, then you usually negotiate a price.
You're correct.
What price do you claim that you negotiated?
I believe it was around 50.
No, not around. When you buy a car, you negotiate a price. Miss Zavala, how old are you?
40.
When you buy a car, you negotiate a price. Even my 18-year-old grandchild knows that.
Okay.
I like that car. How much is it? I want $4,000. I'll give you $3,000. How about $3,200? How about $37,000? Do you understand? You negotiate a price. You're a big girl. You have a grown-up daughter. So, you want to buy my car. This is what you're telling me now. You said that would be great. And what do you do about the cost of the car?
He said he was going to give me time to get a deposit together and sell the car that wasn't working.
Did you come up with a price?
I thought it was $5,500.
What do you mean you thought it was $5,000?
That's what he told me. It's $5,500.
$5,000.
Be taking over payments.
$5,500. You were taking over payments.
Taking over the rest of his payments.
Just a second. So you knew his car was either leased or bought, and there was a loan on it.
Yeah, I just know that he told me you're going to pay me payments of this amount of money every month. And I said, no problem. He goes, get as much money you can together for a deposit, for a down payment on the car. And that's what I did. I didn't ask if he was still financing the car. I didn't ask any of those questions. He just gave me an amount of what he wanted every month.
Now, if I believe that part of the story, before you said, if I'm not mistaken, that was $5,500, I believe she used the word, taking over his payments.
I would be taking over his payments.
I would be taking over his payments. Well, when you take over somebody's payments, it means that they owe money. Do you still owe on the car? You mean you never had that conversation with him?
I don't remember.
Then let's go a little further. So now in July, you have a car. His car.
Yes.
Did you sell your car?
Yes, I did.
What kind of a car was it that you sold?
A 98 Honda Civic.
Who did you sell it to?
A friend of mine's dad.
And how much did you get for it?
I got $700 and I gave him $600.
When did you sell it?
I don't remember the date. I have it in my evidence here, though.
Take a look.
March 2nd.
So March 2nd was the first time you gave him any money on the car. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. It actually doesn't say the date here. He's the one that typed this up. It doesn't tell me a date. I believe it was like not even 2 weeks after I had gotten the...
That would be in July.
Yeah, it was still in July.
Well, when did you sell your other car?
Like a week or two after, so in July.
Making it up as she's going along. Let's understand something, sir. Does his face look stupid? You think they kept me around here 25 years, 26 years because I'm stupid? The document that you gave me says amount left to pay, $1,879.
Jeffrey Coley is accusing his former friend, Melissa Zavala, of not completing the payments on a car loan. Melissa says she's already paid more than the car is worth.
Okay, when did you get the $600?
A couple of weeks later. And I'm showing 540. It was pretty good at nickel and dime.
That's your fault.
Yes.
If that's your fault, you're the seller.
Yes.
I don't know what your end game was, but that's your fault.
I was just
That's your being nice. And, well, then if you're being nice and you're burdening me, then I get to be not nice. That you don't keep good records. Here, $5 here, $10 there, and then you expect somebody with several degrees to make chicken salad out of what you've created, Mr. Coley. Do you understand? If you sell somebody your car and you're looking for a different end game, and I don't know what the different end game was, then if you sell somebody your car, you keep records. July 27th, $600. August 5th, $150. Sale price is this much. Payments to be made.
That's
Do you understand?
exactly what I did. All this paper documents, yes.
Perfect. You had this car and there was a loan on it?
Yes.
Who was the lender?
Westlake Financial.
And how much was left on the car at the time that Miss Zavala started to drive it?
Approximately 4,200 and change.
Let's be clear. How much was left on it? 400, right?
Correct.
And you have records of each of her payments.
Correct.
So you paid off your note.
No, the note has 22% interest. It's a bank note. I pay interest. So she's taken over payments until the bank note's paid, which is roughly 2 years. She knew it was 2 years. It says so 2 years on the document she signed.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
And
Just a sec. I'd like to see the document she signed.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Miss Zavala, did you have insurance, or did he pay
provided insurance.
So,
It was
in
full
addition,
coverage.
just a second. So, the payments that you made to him also included car insurance.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And this is dated 7/10/2020. Loan principal approximately $41.27. You're supposed to make a down payment of $3,000 as agreed, which you didn't make. Monthly payments of $245, lesser forwards payments directly, that's you, to auto lender Westlake from July 20th, approximately 2 years or until the vehicle is paid off. Okay, if Leslie fails for around 45 days, she will surrender the vehicle back, which you did fall behind. You didn't pay the $245 in monthly payments all the time, so he came, took the car back. He took the car once when your daughter was working, which is your counterclaim because it upset her. That's your counterclaim, right?
Yeah, he
Well,
humiliated her at work.
that's dismissed. Leslie is fully responsible for any damages. That's you. There were little damages. You had a little car accident?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a yes.
Yes.
Where was the damage?
It was on the side of the car, on the passenger side.
Did you have it fixed?
Yeah.
You had it fixed? Okay. Not insurance?
No.
You paid to have it
Yeah.
fixed. So I want to see what's left on the car.
I have the bank or the statement.
Well, then show it to me.
Yes, Your Honor. And here was the one for May. So I have today.
No, I just want,
No,
all I want, you have the car, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. All I want to see is what's due on the car. Well, actually, there's nothing much past due. Your account is past due, amount due $603. But amount left to pay is $2,800, according to this.
It's forecasted with interest.
What is left on the car is $2,800. That would be with interest.
If it went a whole year,
If
yes.
it went a whole year.
But if it was cash today, or for example, it would be only the 22,000 or 2,100.
It would be what?
Whatever the balance says on the statement.
The balance that's left on the statement.
Yes. Oh,
You
it's a tiny box in the middle left, far left, under the.
$179.03.
Okay.
That's what it says is left,
Okay.
right?
Correct.
Okay. You signed this agreement?
May I look at it closer?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I did sign that.
Very good. So what you agree to do is pay the car out. And if you want the car in your name, who has the title?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Oh, the bank holds the title.
Yeah, but you have the title the bank with a lien holder.
Correct.
Correct. So that once a payment is made to the bank in the amount of $2,000 to Westlake, $2,879.03 as of November, the car is fully paid off. So you have the title.
No, the
They
car's
have
not
it.
paid off.
No.
I still have 1 year left with Westlake.
No. If the car is paid off today,
Sorry. My apologies.
$2,800, then the car is paid off. Then her contract with
balance.
you is fulfilled.
Partially, Miss Gray crashed the car and it was not fixed.
I don't care.
Okay.
What difference does that make? She pays $2,800 today. It's going to be her car.
The car broke, didn't break. It needed maintenance, 100,000-mile car. She said roughly around December that she couldn't afford to do the maintenance. I said, I'll help you out because your daughter was...
Mr. Coley, let's understand something, sir. Does his face look stupid? You think they kept me around here 25 years, 26 years because I'm stupid? The document that you gave me, that you told to look in the left-hand corner says amount left to pay.
That's correct. We've agreed.
$2,879. So
Your
if
Honor.
the company is paid,
The car is paid.
the
but
car
there's
is
two
paid
loans
for,
on the car,
and then her contract with you is fulfilled. She says, according to this, approximately 2 years or until the vehicle is paid off,
Correct.
at which time the vehicle title will be transferred to the lessee.
Correct.
Perfect. I just asked you what parts and labor not performed 570.
I'm trying to explain. She refused to go the second day. So the parts I paid for went to waste.
Jeffrey Coley is accusing his former friend, Melissa Zavala, of not completing the payments on a car loan. Melissa,
According to this, approximately 2 years or until the vehicle is paid off,
Correct.
at which time the vehicle title will be transferred to the lessee.
Correct.
Perfect. I'm entering a judgment for $2,879. The check will be made payable directly to Westlake Finance
But there's more.
and with a
Your Honor.
direction to the Department of Motor Vehicles that the Department of Motor Vehicles is to issue a clean title in the name of Miss Zavala.
But Your Honor, the damage is not fixed. She lied to you.
What difference does that make to you?
Because I can't. Oh, if those loans paid off, I understand they're keeping the car. There's different ways. But see.
No, that's my way. And
No,
there's
I mean,
my
she
way,
can
and
give the
that's-
car back and
she's
I
not-
can sell it. or
no,
she can
she's
keep
not-
it. That's
she-
what I meant.
What I mean is,
That's what-
there's going to be a check cut to Westlake Finance
I understand.
for $2,879.03 as of November, with a direction. So the loan is fully paid, prepaid, done. And then I'm going to issue an order to the Department of Motor Vehicles to issue a new title in Miss Zavala's name, and her contract with you has been fulfilled according to her contract. You want to read it?
No, I understand, Your Honor. May I speak to the court, please?
About what?
Miss Zavala called me in December and said, I would like to have you do some repairs and pay the car registration and get new tires and change the oil. And I said, whoa, you own the car. It's not right for me to have to pay all your expenses. So she hasn't paid registration since December. The
Show me
police-
that. Show me
the
where that
police
is.
are-
Show me where that is in your complaints. Show me where
Oh,
that.
they only
show
give
me
us
that.
2
No.
lines to fill in the complaint.
Show me. Show me where that is. There's not 2 lines. Show me where that is in your
The original
complaint.
court papers was 2 lines, yes.
Nowhere. The original court papers may have been 2 lines, but
I
this
believe
is not
it
2 lines.
mentions there's a loan, a repair loan in there, I believe.
Oh, well, just
I
show
don't
me.
have it in front
Show
of
me, please. I may not.
Yeah,
Show
there's a
me.
repair loan on there.
Just show me.
Okay.
Just make a circle.
That's
I
what
may
I was
have read it. I may have misread it. Just show me where it is.
On my auto loan and vehicle repair loan, yes, it's at the very, very bottom. Oh. As a result of Melissa's late payments, I incurred fees late on my credit report, and one from yesterday. There's 2 lates now. From a auto loan and a vehicle repair loan that she asked me to repair for her, and it killed my credit score. Let me give you the copy of the repairs. Sorry.
Mr. Coley, I want you to show me a paid bill for repairs on the car. Show me a paid bill for the repairs on the car that first, while it was in Miss Zavala's possession. A paid repair bill, and then give me
Yes,
back a copy.
balance due 0. This is paid, Your Honor.
Okay, great. I'd like to take a look at it. Okay, this was in December
Correct.
of 20 total parts and labor not performed, $573. What is that?
What happens, Mrs. Zavala was difficult to work with, so
I want to know what that means.
I
Total parts and labor not
it
performed.
means it took 2 trips to the auto mechanic. I made the first trip. During that trip, I went to Mrs. Zavala's residence, did her a favor, picked up the car because she was watching a little child and couldn't get away. I dropped my day, what I was doing.
Just a second.
Took her.
I just asked you what parts and labor not performed 570.
I'm trying to explain.
Nothing
The
was
first
done to
day
the car.
I went, they do half the work. So Zavala meets, the second day, I had to come back second day. So I said, Miss Zavala, you go the second day. She refused to go the second day. So the parts I paid for went to waste. So
Listen, sir, I don't know what your thing is. $2,879.03. That is going to be paid directly to Westlake with an order from me that the car is to be put in her name. Goodbye. We're done here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
we love Judge Judy, obviously.
I'm very happy with the judge's decision.
Well, the defendant was slow in paying. She ruined my credit.
I didn't want it to end up like this. I have nothing against him, but I just felt after $7,000, I felt like I was being taken advantage of at that point, and I had to stop.
Well, it was $3,000 in damage.
Actually, I'm not even gonna lie, it wasn't my fault. I was going into the lane and I didn't see the car, so we just went glided against each other.
It's not even close to fixed.
So she did get into an accident. She paid to have it fixed with her own money.
I'm a fair guy. I said, look, you're 3 months behind. I'm coming to get the car.
He towed the car. I didn't even know he towed it. He just took it.
We all learn a lot when we do things like this. But, a good deed and then multiple deeds, those don't get counted.
Drama.
It seemed to me that there was a sort of different end game that plaintiff was after, doing all those kind things, taking a car that he had already effectively sold to get repairs done and doing favors. And not sure, there's something off.
That's probably true, because if it doesn't make sense, it's usually not true. But there's something else there that just is so get out, and you really don't appreciate the fact that when you pay back that loan, even if it's in a relatively short period of time, you're paying back twice as much.
Sometimes
But
even more.
Yeah. I think that you're probably better off getting a cheaper car, as long as it runs, to get you around, rather than obligating yourself for a high credit loan. I would rather own something and build up my cash so that I can buy something and not have to have a 25% interest loan. Even though I know that that's what makes the world go round, it's what keeps people poor, rather than allowing you to move upwardly and forward.
Yeah.
Are you a victim of a scam? Go to judyjustice.tv.
You rescued a dog. Yes. And it was not a good fit with your other dog.
There was some snarling going on there.
You say you called her.
Right away, she started ranting and raving at me. She said, I want her back here tomorrow.
What did you do with the dog? What did you do with the dog?
This is Judy Justice. Lorena Delatorre is suing dog rescue president Tammy Carlson for adoption fees and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise. Hello, Judge. Case number 1034, Delatorre versus Carlson.
Thank you. Be seated, please. Miss Delatorre, you rescued a dog.
Yes.
That dog.
Yes.
And you rescued that dog from the defendant's rescue facility.
Correct.
And paid a fee
Correct.
of $500.
Yes, ma'am.
And signed a contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of the contract?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. Okay, now I've fully read this agreement. So you signed and acknowledged this contract.
Correct.
And this is Maltese Rescue.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you been in existence?
8 years.
Explain it to me. Do you operate out of your home? How do you do that?
Yes, so we have fosters spread out throughout California, and we operate the organization out of our home. When I retired, we decided to do this. We've rescued approximately 1,200 dogs over the last 8 years. Maltese specifically because they have special needs with their little bodies. So special medical needs. So that's pretty much what we specialize in.
So if somebody were, for instance, from Texas, and they could no longer take care of their dog, and they found Maltese Rescue online,
Yes, Your Honor.
how would that work?
If they were from Texas, it's a little more difficult unless they were to fly her here or the animal here. If they're in California, for instance, in Sophie's case, her had cancer and she was dying. So
Here in California.
Here in California. So she called and she said, sorry, it makes me sad. She said, I want to have Sophie go to you because I know you come highly recommended and you'll give her the right home.
And Sophie is about 8 years old?
Yes.
So when she called you, do you take her into your home?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
For how long do you usually keep the dogs in your home?
It depends on the medical conditions of the dog. So
when you took Sophie to the vet to have her teeth taken care of, who paid for that?
We do. Maltese Rescue California pays for that.
And is Maltese Rescue of California a 501c3 corporation?
Yes,
okay. Now, you had another dog.
Correct.
You actually had two.
Correct.
One passed away.
Yes.
And according to your complaint, you thought that the surviving dog was lonely.
Your Honor, Scarlett is a special needs, and she's gone blind in the last 8 months, and we had lost our boxer, and Scarlett depended on our boxer quite often because of her going blind. And when I went and saw the vet to take Scarlett for a checkup in February, I was explaining to her that Scarlett seemed very lonely, and then I know she was having trouble. So
that's the
vet
reason.
suggested,
That's
yes.
the reason that you went to rescue.
Yes.
Okay. And Scarlett is a Maltese,
Scarlett is a 3.5-pound Yorkie.
but you went to the Maltese Rescue rather than a Yorkie Rescue. Why?
Maltese are usually smaller, and I was looking for a dog under 8 pounds.
Okay.
And so I was on Pet Finders, and a Maltese happened to come up on Pet Finders with the Maltese Rescue.
Okay. I just wanted to know
Yes,
how it came
yes.
back. And you took her home on the 29th of April.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
Or no, I'm sorry, it was on the 30th, Your Honor.
okay. Next day. And it was not a good fit with your other dog.
No, Your Honor.
So what did you do?
After 3 weeks, and we were trying to work her out with Scarlett, and there was some snarling going on there and so forth.
What did you do? 3 weeks later.
I phoned Tammy the morning of the 24th of May. I proceeded to try to explain to Tammy that it was not working out, that they were not bonding, it was not a good fit. And I was trying to explain to Tammy what all had been going on, but Tammy right away started yelling and barking at me. And
Tell me what she said to you. After a month, you said it's not working out.
right.
And what did she say to
She
you?
asked me, what do you mean it's not working out? What's going on?
So you told her,
Yes.
and she said to you,
I want her back here tomorrow.
okay.
So I proceeded to tell her that that would not work out, that it would have to be on the weekend.
Okay, so you said it's not working out here.
Correct.
She said, I'll take her back, bring her tomorrow. Do you remember what day of the week this was?
It was on a Monday.
Okay, so you called her on a Monday,
Yes.
and she said, fine, bring the dog back. And you said, I can't bring her back until the weekend.
Correct.
And
well,
then-
she said, I want her back here tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, well, that
And-
sounds reasonable. She's
Right.
concerned. You're calling up and you're saying, I don't want this dog anymore. The dog is not working out in my family. She didn't say it's not my problem anymore. You adopted her. She said, bring her back right away, right?
Right.
And what happened?
I proceeded to tell her that I could bring her on the weekend. The dog
Dog
back
back right away. And so what did
then
you do?
I said to her, then I would need to meet you, or you could send somebody to come get her. Either or. So she said to me, let me make a couple phone calls. I'll get back with you in a little bit. So we left it at that. So I waited that whole day. I didn't hear back from her. We went into the next day. I waited the next day. Did not hear from her.
Okay, now, so far that's 2 days later. That would be a Wednesday.
Correct.
Okay, and by Wednesday you hadn't heard from her, and you already told her that you couldn't return the dog until the following Saturday.
Correct.
Wednesday, prior to the Saturday, what did you do?
Okay. Okay, so that afternoon I had lunch with a friend of mine, Angel, and I was telling her what was going on, and she proceeded to tell me that
Don't tell me what she told you. As a result of that conversation, you rehomed the dog to these people.
No, I don't even know who that is. Your Honor. No.
Just a second.
Your Honor.
To whom did you give the dog?
I
Just
had
a
not
second.
rehomed her.
Who did you give the dog to?
I did not give her to anybody at that point.
So just a second. What did you do with the dog?
I still had the dog.
Until when?
I had the dog until Thursday, I believe it was. I'd have to look
Okay,
at
so you had the conversation with Angel on Wednesday, and on Thursday, what did you do with the dog?
I still had the dog until the afternoon when Tammy agreed.
Don't tell me what she agreed to. I asked you a specific question. What did you do with the dog on Thursday?
After I was instructed by my attorney.
What did you do
I
with
let
the
my
dog?
friend come pick her up.
Your friend Angel.
Take her to the grandparents.
Just a second. Your friend Angel. So you gave the dog on Thursday to this other person.
Correct.
And after that, you assumed that Angel was giving the dog to a grandparent.
Yes.
Okay. And then?
So I had got my attorney involved.
Why?
Because as I was trying to explain, on Wednesday evening when I called Tammy to see what was going on, because she had stated, give me a little bit, I'll call you back. I'm going to have somebody meet you tomorrow, which would have been that Wednesday. I'm going to have somebody meet you tomorrow to pick up Sophie. So when I did not hear back from her, I called her that evening. And I couldn't get two words in edgewise except to say, I was trying to explain to her and say, Tammy, I found another home for Sophie. I wanted to try to tell her they want to do an application, but Tammy did not give me a chance because right away she started ranting and raving and yelling at me. So after about 15 minutes of that, I cut the conversation and said to her, we're not getting anywhere. You won't even let me speak to explain to you the situation. So tomorrow morning will have my attorney friend call you and he can set up a meeting time for us to meet to make the exchange of Sophie. And make arrangements for us to meet so I could return Sophie. So he made the arrangement. It was agreed that I was returning.
You can't tell me that. That's hearsay. Well, if you're retired, why don't you go bring the dog home the next day?
As I'm trying to explain, when I have my grandkids, I don't drive that far because I'm not accustomed to driving in the traffic.
I actually think you're pretty outrageous.
And later today.
Were either of the toilets working?
I don't know.
No, just a second. Miss Coy, don't think about where I'm going. Okay. Because I would know in a two-bath house, if I was there by myself, whether either one of the two toilets was working after 2 days.
Lorena Delatorre says dog rescue president Tammy Carlson owes her for the adoption fee of a Maltese.
So this is what the case is about. You made a $500 donation to Maltese Rescue.
Correct.
And you want the money back. That $500, that's what this case is about.
Yes, because Tammy agreed to pay me back.
That's what this case is about. You want your $500 donation back because these people, I don't know where they got the dog from. You're not the grandparents, are you?
They're my grandparents.
They're your grandparents. Just sit. You, in effect, rehomed the dog to Angel, who said, my grandparents are going to take the dog. Let's say I let all of that in. That means that you don't know about the home. You have no idea about the home. You didn't do an inspection of the home. You don't know who the grandparents are. You don't know whether...
He's a pastor, and they're very good Christian people.
What's his name and how many times did you meet the grandparents?
George.
How many times did you see the grandparents?
Once.
Where?
At a wedding reception.
After you gave the dog away.
Just a second.
Sorry.
That's not a home inspection. That just means you gave the dog to Angel to give to grandparents who evidently didn't keep the dog because they gave Sophie to these people.
Yes, Your
This
Honor.
is your dog.
Yes, but there was a reason why that happened.
I don't care why it happened. That has nothing to do with this case.
No.
Yes,
It
Your
has
Honor.
nothing to do with this case.
But I did not give Sophie away until after Tammy instructed my attorney that it was okay.
Just a second. You can't tell me that. It's hearsay.
We were on three-way.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just for my own information, I assume for the purpose of this question that you had a conversation with this lawyer friend of hers.
So he was a paralegal, Your Honor.
Just a second.
Oh, sorry.
Did you know that she was on the three-way?
No.
No. Look, this is very easy. Do you like Sophie?
Yes.
She looks healthy
She's gaining a lot of weight.
Right things.
and gave you $500.
No, she did not.
She did not.
Because she gave a $500 donation.
Okay, just a second. So you didn't ask her for another one?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't have been.
Just a second.
Okay.
It's very, very easy. You signed this contract. You want me to read it to you? I hereby acknowledge and understand that the dog's adoption fee is a donation to Maltese Rescue Organization and that MRC is in no way obligated to return or refund this adoption fee at any time. You made a donation.
Tammy agreed to return the fee to me. And
Oh,
she
really?
was going to
Just
get
a
it from
second.
this woman.
Just a second. Did you agree to return the fee to her?
When I first spoke to her, I explained if she would return Sophie to me immediately because I didn't know where she was, I would then refund her her money.
Just a second. That was in the first conversation
Yes,
when
Your
she
Honor.
called you on a Monday?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
When she called you, did she ask for the adoption fee
No,
back?
she did not, Your Honor.
Okay. It was at that conversation when you say, bring the dog back here immediately and I will refund your money.
Yes.
And she says, I can't get the dog there until the weekend.
Actually, when she first called me, she said, you need to get this dog out of here immediately. I'm sick of her
Your Honor, I
peeing,
never said that.
peeing and pooping all over my house. I said, okay, I will get her. I can't do it right now. If I can't do it, I'll find someone who can, or I will get her tomorrow. I will call you back. And then it escalated from there. She also said she would not drive to me because she doesn't drive that far. I said, you drove to my house to pick her up. How could you not drive that far?
During what part of the initial conversation did you say to her, if you bring the dog back to me immediately, I'll give you your $500?
The very beginning, when she told me she was sick of her peeing and pooing all over her house. I will get her out as fast as I can, and I will give you your money back.
That any part of the
Your Honor,
conversation?
that's not what was said.
Okay, so you tell me when she told you she would give you your money back. On what day?
On 25th of May and on the 27th of May.
Okay, tell me about that. On the 25th of May was the day after you say you called her. You say you called her on the 24th of May.
And the 25th.
Just a second. You say you called her on the 24th.
Yes, ma'am.
And she didn't mention anything about the return of the money on the 24th.
No, ma'am.
On the 25th, very next
That was
day.
that evening.
Just a second. I thought you didn't speak to her the next day.
I did on the 20th. I spoke to her that I called her
No,
because I
just-
had not heard back.
Just a second. You told me your initial call with her was on the 24th, which was on a Monday,
Correct.
right? And you say, I waited for her all day Monday, and I waited for her all day Tuesday, and I didn't hear from her.
So I called her back Tuesday evening.
And
I have hit my phone.
go ahead
Okay.
and tell me about that conversation.
So that's when I asked her what she was going to do. Was she going to meet me, or was she sending somebody to pick her up, or did she?
Tell me what she was going
Okay,
to do.
I
I
was
mean,
waiting
you
to
do
hear back,
drive,
yes.
and you did drive to get the dog, so you could have
Yes,
driven.
ma'am.
And if you waited, what kind of work do you do?
I'm retired
Well, if you're retired, why didn't you go bring her the next day?
Because
back to her house.
because
If you're retired, why didn't you go and bring the dog home the next day?
as I'm trying
back
to
to her.
explain, when I have my grandkids, I don't drive that far because I'm not
You know,
accustomed to driving
you
in
know.
the traffic.
You have no case. Zero. Zippity doo dah. You made a donation to a charity. Read your contract. I actually think you're pretty outrageous. Your case is dismissed. We're done here.
Court adjourned.
Oh, the defendant is nasty, and you can see that it's her way or no way.
I think that she made the right choice and she made the right decision.
And it's very apparent when I was at their home that she's just a nasty person.
So I'm not exactly sure what transpired there, but she definitely made the right decision.
I made a tax donation, and I'll use it on my write-offs.
That was relatively easy. Contract is a contract is a contract. Taking away all the emotions. Plaintiff knew what she was signing. She understood what she was signing, and she breached the contract. Anyway, right thing happened.
Case number 1011, Coit versus Alonso. Please step forward.
Jennifer Coit claims contractor Robert Alonzo changed his price quote, causing her to overpay for plumbing services.
Ms. Court, you live in Texas.
Yes,
Where in Texas?
Dallas.
You had a bad storm this past year.
A bad one.
What was the date of the storm?
Around February 16th, I think. Somewhere like that.
And I think my memory serves, it got as cold as it's been probably in your memory.
Yeah. 120 years.
How cold was it, Mr. Alonzo?
0 degrees.
Tell me about your house. What size house do you have? Coit?
I have a 3-bedroom, single family, about 1,700 square feet.
And all your pipes froze?
No, both of the toilets in my house stopped up, and then my sink. And then the
Well,
pipe didn't
just a second. So you had 2 toilets, 1 sink. The sink was where?
in the kitchen.
What about the sinks in the bathroom?
The sinks in the bathroom, no, but the shower in the bathroom.
So now all these things didn't all come together. They clogged because it was freezing outside.
Possibly so.
No, not possibly. There's too much serendipity in losing 2 toilets, 1 sink, and a shower all at one time.
I think it started before the storm, though. Before we had the weather. It had already started. I could see it in the shower.
How much before the storm?
Maybe a couple of days.
Did you call anybody when you started to see a problem?
Well, it really wasn't. I didn't see a problem until...
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Coit, so we're not going to play with each other. The pipes froze in your house because of the storm.
Okay.
Okay. For a 4-hour period by 3 men is sufficient compensation?
Yes, I have quotes. Yes.
I went there for 4 hours.
Listen.
Sorry.
Jennifer Coits is suing contractor Robert Alonzo for overpayment and price gouging during a natural disaster in Texas.
Now, Mr. Alonzo, you're in the plumbing business?
I'm a general contractor, actually. So we subcontract plumbers and other contractors.
You got his name out of the phone book?
Actually, I got it off of this site, this app that we have called Nextdoor for your neighborhood, so you can go in and get recommendations and...
Okay, so you got it online?
Yes.
And did you call him on the 16th?
It wasn't him.
Who
It
was
was his workers. I only got his name because he's the one that I had to charge my credit card to.
Yeah.
Just a second. Okay. Did you ever speak to Mr. Alonzo?
Not until after the fact.
Okay. The reason that you're here today is that you think Mr. Alonzo overcharged you.
Yes.
And you paid him by both cash and credit card in the amount of, I think, $1,200?
$1,250. $1,250.
$1,250. And it was your understanding that they were going to come out and do the job for $150.
$150 is what I was quoted.
Okay. Well, I don't know whether that's what you were quoted unless you have it in writing from somebody. Do you?
I have it on a text message.
I'd like to see what the text message says.
And I've never seen none of her texts. Okay.
I have to see who it's from.
This one doesn't show the price.
Well, that's what I need.
No, I don't have that.
So then, since you don't have any proof of what you were quoted, both either in a contract or in a text message that I can look at or in an email that I might be able to look at, tell me, did workers show up to your home on the 16th?
Actually, they showed up to my home on the 18th and 19th.
So neither toilet was working for 2 days.
Right.
And the sink wasn't working in your kitchen.
Right.
And the shower wasn't working.
Right.
Now, on the 18th, how many people showed up?
3.
At what time of the day did they show up?
Actually, it was about 8 o'clock p.m.
How long were they at the house on 8 p.m.?
I would say 15 minutes.
When they left, were the 2 toilets still broken?
Yes.
Was the sink still broken?
Yes.
And the shower still broken?
Yes.
And then they came back on the 19th. Was it the same 3 men?
Yes.
And what time did they get there?
I would say they got there maybe 6 p.m.
And what time did they leave?
It took them a while. So I would say maybe 10 p.m.
When they left after they were there for 4 hours, were either of the toilets working?
I didn't.
Because I would know in a 2-bath house, if I was there by myself, whether either one of the 2 toilets was working. Well, after 2 days, I would know the answer to that question. So at 10 p.m. when they left, were either of the 2 toilets working?
They were working, but they hadn't bolted them down.
So could you use them, is the
Yes,
question.
I could use them, but...
You can use them both. Okay. And what about the sink in the kitchen?
The sink in the kitchen, I could use it. Yes.
So it was working. And what about the shower?
The shower was working.
Did they ever come back?
No.
So they were there from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on
The 19th.
the 19th, and there were 3 men working.
Yes.
Who finally bolted down the toilets?
Well...
That's not a well, that's a name.
They didn't do it. I had to get someone else to come in and bolt them down. I had to buy the pieces because when they removed the toilet, it broke the screws in the toilet. So and I couldn't get them to respond to come back out. So I had to hire someone else to come back out to put the toilets down. And I had to buy, I forget what you call it, for the toilet. and wrote it down. That little ring that you need, yeah.
But you had the use of toilets. Do you have the bill from the person that came back to put them back, to bolt them back into the floor? Okay. When they left, did they present you with a bill?
No, they quoted me a price.
You can't tell me what they quoted you,
Okay.
because that's hearsay, unless you spoke to him. Who ultimately gave you a bill?
No one gave me a bill.
Who told you what to pay? That's why you're
One
here.
of the workers told me.
Was that on the 19th?
Yes.
And when he left at 10 o'clock at night, what did he say the charge was?
He told me $13.50.
And did you pay him?
Under duress, yes.
You paid him?
Yes. I wrote him a check for $250 and then the balance of
On your
$1,000
credit
on my
card.
credit card.
And then, from what I gather from the papers, you questioned or tried to do a chargeback for what you had put on your credit card, which was about $1,000. And the credit card company did it first, and then they did a further investigation, and they charged your credit card. So what did you think the cost was supposed to be?
The cost was supposed to be $150.
Okay. Now, do you think that $150 for what was done in your house over a 4-hour period by 3 men is sufficient compensation? Whether there's a blizzard or not, whether there's a storm or not, you think a reasonable price for 4 hours work for 3 men is $150? You think that's a reasonable price?
At the time, yes.
Yeah,
All it was with the toilets. But I paid $250 because of the weather. That's why I went over and paid more
Well,
than
then,
$150.
Ms. Coy, I'm going to say this to you. He doesn't have to say anything. You can't price gouging during an emergency.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is, if your house is totally frozen and it took 3 men to do it, and they couldn't even get to your job for 2 days because they were so busy, it is not unreasonable to charge what you were charged for that many men, for that many hours worth of work. There's a lesson to be learned. I'm going to tell you what the lesson is. And the lesson to be learned is, before you have a job done, get an estimate in writing. If they left on the 18th and said, we now see what the problem is, because that's what I'm surmising. You can't tell me that, but I assume if they came and looked at the problem, they said, we'll be back tomorrow to fix it. And if you're a consumer, you say, how much is it going to cost? Put it in writing. Okay.
I have that deal.
The credit card company did its investigation and found that he was entitled to his money. I find the same thing. Your case is dismissed. We're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Court's adjourned.
Well, the fact that actually they didn't complete the job. They didn't complete the job at all.
I don't believe that's true, because
I had to get another plumber and someone else. They did not complete the job.
the guys were there for a lot longer because they did some jobs for me personally.
$1,250.
The money that was charged, that all went to the plumbers. I didn't make 1 penny.
Never used them again.
Hard times, people were in distress. You had to do what you had to do.
So I know you always say that it's important to get your contracts in writing for enforceability and just to hold people accountable. I think this case showed that, especially in times of distress and desperation and natural disasters, it's even more important to get things in writing.
Yeah, sometimes when you're in the midst of a problem, when you live in a house that has 2 bathrooms and you don't have a working bathroom, that's a real problem. But when you come to court, you need evidence. I didn't actually think that what was charged was that unreasonable. So it was without a contract, and you had the number of men and the number of hours that they worked, and the fact that they worked from 6 at night until 10 o'clock at night, according to the plaintiff. In my judgment, they were entitled to the fee that they charged, and if she was unhappy with it, that was her problem. She really should have gotten it in writing. So when in doubt, get a signature.
Have you been cheated? Go to judyjustice.tv.